Hey guys, it is Esti and Justin from Not For Long Media.
If you like the video you're about to watch, be sure to like the video itself and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.
Enjoy the video, and also don't forget to follow us on our socials at Not For Long Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Wow, we finally got him on, folks. The great Mike Burton. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Dude, appreciate you. Full disclosure, Mike Burton is our #1 listened podcast at Not For Long Media. #1 listened podcast. I think it's 2 times more download than Christian McCaffrey, Adam Schefter, Rear Admiral Spitting Chicklets.
I mean, you're just pumping me up. That can't possibly be true. I'll take it. I'll take it.
The people's fullback, folks. So I met Michael Burton when I went to the practice squad to the Chicago Bears. Zach Miller went down. I went for a tight end workout, and I was at literally ground zero with my career. Like, I think I'm done. I don't know if I'm going to be picked up again. Emergency appendectomy with the Giants. Fast forward about 10 weeks later, I'm running at this, Del Val College, D3 school in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And then I'm about to get on the train and go work out at Temple. And I get a call from the Chicago Bears after I just got off the phone with my wife, like in tears. Like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get picked up. Like, I can't do this whole runaround, And boom, went to the Bears, and the rest is history. We spent a year together, and I got cut the day they traded for Khalil Mack. And there's no harder worker, no more disciplined athlete than the great Mike Burton. I try to be disciplined. I'm not anywhere near the great Mike Burton. So it's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Oh, thanks for those kind words. I appreciate it.
You're a legend. You're a legend.
Yeah.
So what are you up to now, man? Where are you at?
So I'm in Maryland right now with my wife, my daughter, who just turned 1. Wife's back at work in the off season, so I'm getting plenty of daddy duty time, which has been absolutely amazing. I feel like I'm making up for some time that I might miss during the season, spending all my time at the facility. But started back training, so daddy daughter time and training is kind of what I'm up to right now, and it's a blessing. I absolutely love it.
That's great, man. I actually am on the Mike Burton training. Sorry, Jeremy Scott, strength coach of the Carolina Panthers. I am on the Mike Burton program, and my body is feeling good. I'm getting back moving again. Mike and I are just about the same phase of the lifting program here, right. And just getting the body back right. So what's the daddy daughter time like, man? Like, what a blessing that has been. Obviously, it's a huge change in your life. I'm on that road to the same sort of change for my wife and I as well. Not right now, but down the road a little bit. What has that journey been from? Obviously you guys are celebrating the pregnancy, and then you're going to a season, and then the baby comes and you're not around, and then you are around, and the bye week and all these different things. Talk about that process of being an athlete, especially as dedicated as you are, and then balancing family.
Yeah, I think like you just hit it there. The balance aspect of it is extremely important. She just turned 1, and this was the first season I was out there with my wife and my daughter. And you'd think, is it going to take time away from the facility, the studying, the training, and all those types of things? But it doesn't at all. In fact, it makes you better. It makes you a better person. Having them around made me a better person, which made me a better player. And I couldn't picture myself going anywhere without them and not spending the time I do with them. Like I said, it's been absolutely amazing just watching her grow. Like I said, she just turned 1, watching her grow over the course of this year. She's getting to be a personality now, and she looks like a toddler, and it's really special. Hopefully my wife and I were planning on having a few more, and it's just a real blessing, and we're really excited about that.
Does she look more like mom, dad, somewhere in the middle?
So somewhere in the middle is what we've been getting from family members. We actually were at a birthday party last weekend where we hadn't seen some people in a long time, and they were saying, yeah, it's kind of that middle, hard to tell. Not really me, not really my wife. So kind of both of us. So
I love it.
But I'll take it. So
I love it. You're in the Maryland area, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Outside of Baltimore. It's a great place.
Right outside of Baltimore, like 25 minutes outside the city. I have my sister, her husband, 3 kids, 10 minutes down the road. I got my in-laws about 15 minutes north. My parents actually just closed on a house down here 15 minutes away. My sister's in DC. She went to Catholic University. And, so we got a bunch of family down here. My brother, his wife, and 3 kids are up in New York. But it's only, day trip. I can get up there and see them. So it's nice having family super close.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so special. It's just a great area. Cindy and I love it there, and
Yeah.
we're actually planning to move there too. I haven't told you yet, but I'm not going to tell you. It's in the works. I'm not saying where publicly, but it's in the works.
Really?
Yeah.
What do we talk to me a little bit about that? I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
that's
We'll
some
talk.
big news.
Yeah, we're interested in living in the Annapolis area.
That's a beautiful area. So my parents, they're in a town over from us, but their first spot they looked at was Annapolis. Absolutely
nice.
beautiful. There's places right on the water that are just fantastic. It was just a little far from being from the grandkids and stuff, you know, 50 minutes or so, but wow, for you two, that'd be awesome.
So they got out of dirty Jersey, huh? Where I'm currently residing.
Yeah, they got out of dirty Jersey. It's unfortunate, you know, I'm a Jersey guy, absolutely love Jersey. You know, who knows, maybe I'll find my way back there one day. But for right now, love having my family close, even though it's in Maryland and not Jersey.
Jersey guy, former walk-on to Rutgers University, had lower level offers. Again, the previous episode, which I'm going to dig through and actually repost, because when I redid this new version of Not For Long, I had to take all that stuff down and kind of rebrand the whole thing. So I'm going to be spending some time this summer reposting some of our older podcasts that have done well. So Jersey guy walked on to Rutgers, team captain, drafted at fullback. Ridiculous, unreal story, and credit to you. But talk about the current Rutgers team. I know you played for Coach Yano.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Coach Yano for those that may not know him, and then talk about where you think the program's heading now?
Yeah, look, I'm a huge Coach Yano fan. I think just the way he treats us like men, treats it like a professional program. I think that's why you look at how many guys, A, are in the NFL from Rutgers, and B, how long they play for. I think that's a complete direct correlation to how Coach Yano runs the Rutgers program. Could not have been more excited to have him back when I found out that news. I think there's a few, you know, he just needs to get his own recruiting classes in there, right? Guys he can recruit, the character that he wants. He's slowly building back that culture that he had when we were a top tier program. And it's not to say that we aren't right now, but to get back to where we were, just some time to get his own recruits in there, his coaches in there, build up the facilities to try to compare with these other Big Ten schools. And I think we're a year or two away from being an excellent football team, winning a lot of games and playing for championships, most importantly. Really do believe that. I mean, if anybody's going to lead us back there, it's Coach Yano, and that's the honest truth.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff for Rutgers. It's great for the state of New Jersey. It's great for Northeast football.
Yes.
There's not as many powers in the Northeast. Obviously, we know Penn State, we know BC, we know Pitt, we know Maryland, right? It's spotty. Temple, when I was there, was great, but you know, it's been a rough couple of years there. But I'm excited, like you're saying, like Coach Drayton, I was able to go around the program, see their workouts, talk to him, you know, look him in the eyes, shake his hand, get to know the staff, get to know the people. Cause it's, you know, you hate to say the word, but Rutgers was in rebuild mode. Temple's in rebuild mode. It's not reload mode at this point. You know, with the transfer portal, people blamed it on Temple's failures, but if the coaching is right and the team is winning, no one's transferring. So, you know, I feel the same way about Temple, and Rutgers beat up on Temple this year pretty good, which, you know, just being transparent, like I was happy for Rutgers because I want to see them do well. You know, I really do. Do you have any fond memories from your time there? Like, is there games that stand out? You're like, this was an unbelievable experience. I know it's been some years now, but I'm sure there's a game or two that sticks out to you.
Yeah, in fact, actually, it was versus Temple. We were losing to him all game, and
I wasn't there yet.
I know you weren't there. It was at our place, and it was right before the bye week. So you know how it is. Like right before the bye week, you want to go into that bye week with the win. You know, we were losing to Temple all game. We ended up coming back, beating them with like a few seconds left. Gary Nova hit Leonte Crew down the sideline for like a 50-yard bomb. It was just an unbelievable game. The atmosphere was fantastic. And to go into the bye week on a high note like that was great. And we actually ended up going on a winning streak after that. I think that game kind of gave us some confidence, gave us some momentum. So that was a big game for us. And a few other ones when I was younger, playing in some of the bowl games, New Era Pinstripe Bowl, you know, being from New Jersey, playing in New York was pretty cool. We played Iowa State one year. We played Notre Dame the next year. So to play some pretty, big schools, in New York in front of your hometown, have your, family and friends be able to come to those games as a young guy playing in a bowl game was a really cool experience as well.
A Gary Nova shout out on Not For Long Media. I don't know if I thought we'd ever have that. I had no idea who this guy was, but he was ripping it up at Boston College Camp in 2009, maybe. And that was where I got my first offer. And he was there with like the whole Don Bosco prep, I believe.
Yeah, Don Bosco prep. Yep.
And their whole team was there.
I believe it.
running a 7-on-7 drill, and they would like beat teams by 40, right? They're calling
Yep.
like no huddle and stuff. And the guy was
Yeah.
making them do up downs and run gassers. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then little did I know, when I went to Archbishop Wood and Mike Carey came in and Steve Devlin, we'd end up doing the same shit. So
yeah, that's like Coach Toll for you. That was a head coach back then. And if you speak to any of those Bosco guys, Gary, Leonte, Darius Hamilton, who's a former 5-star recruit.
I remember.
You talk to those guys, they say Toll was the best coach they've ever played for. It speaks volumes. They had guys who were going to Division I year after year after year. So yeah, definitely Gary Nova shout out. He had an excellent career at Rutgers.
Yeah, he did. He had a great career and was, pretty much probably recruited a big Jersey guy. So you talked about playing in New York, though. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you what it was like playing in Yankee Stadium. You played in the new one. Yeah, definitely the new one.
Yes. Yeah, played in the new one. I'll say this. The atmosphere was awesome. The grass, the turf, the actual playing field, not so much because they had to lay it down, because to cover the sand, it kind of got tore up a little bit. But the atmosphere, the history of the stadium, the history of New York, having Jersey fans there, family and friends was really special, and you can take all that in, and not for nothing, it was always around Christmas, which I'm sure the city around the holiday seasons is just a fantastic atmosphere. So you have all that in, add that on with your family, and playing in New York at Yankee Stadium, it was just a really great atmosphere. We'd always go out the week before, have delicious food, dinners, and all that leading up to the game. So it was a really awesome atmosphere.
Were you treating yourself, Mike, to a little special dinner? That's college days. You were a little bit more reckless with your eating.
Yeah. I wasn't going too crazy now, but still eating good. But, it's just better fruit up there. The chicken just tastes a little bit better than it does the meat grilling it on my stovetop at home. So.
I'll say this, man. When I was with the Giants, they have to be the top 5 teams in the NFL when it comes to food. I was a big old boy. Like those pictures of looking back to rookie, like I was thick. Yeah. Now, it was probably okay at the time for me, but I was eating good. And the other thing too, and we'll get into, is the transition between college and pros, where in college you are running constantly, you are lifting constantly. And then you get to the NFL and it's like, hey, you got 30 minutes to get a lift in. We got to have a 15-minute run. Then you got to go to meetings. You're like, wait, what? Like, so I was eating like I was training in college and training like we were current NFL players.
Yep.
That's a grind. That's a grind. That's been the hardest thing for me as a big eater.
Right.
Like just balancing the different ways because you're training different outside the facility. So let's transition. Let's go to Kansas City. You spent this last year in Kansas City. I remember when you signed, I was so excited for you. First thing I said with you is Super Bowl. You get to be a part of a Super Bowl team off the jump. Everybody knows it. Talk about the organization. Talk about Andy Reid.
It's unbelievable. Coach Reid, the way he runs that organization, his leadership is some of the best, if not the best, I've been around. He's calm, cool, and collected at all times. He demands respect, and every single person, whether you're Pat Mahomes at the top of the level or me, who's towards the bottom, you respect
top of
him.
the level, top of the level.
You respect him when he speaks, and that's just the way it is. And doesn't matter who you are. And it just speaks volumes to his credibility and who he was and who he is. He's beloved everywhere. You could probably, talk to this a little bit. When you go to Philly, right? Fans are crazy, always shouting, yelling at the opposing team. We walk in there, Coach Reid, they're clapping for him. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of guy that he is and the type of respect that he has. And, that's him as a person, unbelievable person too, guy you want to run through a wall for, play for. And that's not even to say how smart he is offensively, his game planning, putting guys in position to be successful every single snap. I mean, I saw before I got to KC, the success Pat, Tyreek, and Kelsey and all these guys had. But man, their talents are off the charts. There's no doubt about it. But Coach Reid, really the whole staff. But again, the whole staff was created by who? Coach Reid. That's Coach Reid bringing in Eric Bieniemy and all these great, amazing coaches, right? But it's him just putting guys in, places and situations that have success. And that's really what he does best. And it was really special to be part of it and see this year for sure.
I met Coach Reid in the hallway of Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, when I was at University of Florida, maybe my second year, medically disqualified, somewhere in that 2012, 2013 area. I think it was his last year there. Nick Foles was the quarterback of the Eagles at the time. The first stint, Nick Foles was the quarterback of the Eagles. And Marty Morningweg, Skylar Morningweg's father, who was my roommate in college, his dad was the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. I think it was like kind of their farewell, party after a really great, stint in Philly. I think it was a decade. And I had like 5 minutes. I had like 2 minutes with Coach Reed, all the Florida Gator football players that Skylar brought down, maybe 4 of us. And you would have thought I had a quality conversation for 30 minutes. He may have talked to us for 90 seconds. The way he looked us in the eyes, the way he shook our hands, the way he addressed us, I was so blown away and impressed. And it was above and beyond what it even expected other than a handshake. They just won. I think it was a swan song situation, maybe the last game of the year or second to last game of the year. I forget. But regardless, what an unbelievable man and what an unbelievable team you guys had this year. And we're a part of so many crazy games. Before we get to the Bills game, because that's what everyone's going to talk about, I want to talk about the personnel there. Can you just talk about Mahomes and then transition to Kelsey? Because if I'm a tight end, I don't ask about Kelsey. I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about either of those guys. I mean, they're top of the line at their position. They're top of the line people. They're top of the line teammates, leaders. I mean, when you walk into a room, Pat or Travis, your attention is zoomed in right on them. When they speak, you follow them, right? What are they doing at practice? What are they doing in the building? What are they doing outside the building? Like all those things that just make them such great pros. You want to be, you're locked in on that, right? 2 Hall of Famers, 2 guys that are just at the top of the line in this league right now, just doing amazing things. And week after week, I think the consistency that they bring is invaluable. And guys feed off that. They make everybody around them better. Their standard and expectation is off the charts, and it forces you as players around that who aren't as skilled to raise your level, right? So to make sure you're doing everything you possibly can to succeed, right? Extra lifts, extra running, extra film study, practicing 100%, 110% at practice, all those things, just to try to reach and match their level of play, right? That's how good they are. And that's how they make everybody in the organization around them, because their standard is so high and they always meet that standard because of how good of players they are. It was just amazing to be part of that and watch them and kind of learn from them and just try to add things to my repertoire to be a better pro and a better player. So it was definitely a blessing having spent this past year with those guys.
Yeah, an unbelievable, team, locker room. It's fun to watch. Obviously, you're holding on to, the fast jet that's moving, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys start the year a little down, and then you just, boom, you rock it up, which everybody expected. And here we go. We're in the playoffs. We're a couple of games away from the Super Bowl, arguably one of the best games of all time. Bills, Chiefs, 2 great rosters, 2 great teams led by 2 successful head coaches, 2 quarterbacks that everybody knows, a lot of really great storylines in that game. And there's 13 seconds left. Kansas City goes down and wins the game, ties it up, and then goes down in overtime and wins the game. The controversy behind the overtime, all these different things. Can you just take me through some thoughts from the beginning of the game to the end of the game? Like what was going through your head? Because you're such a dialed in the moment guy. You're playing on all the special teams. You're running to the end zone like a nut job on every kickoff, even though it's kicked out of the back of the end zone. And you're getting beat a little bit, I'll be honest with you. But
yeah, I gotcha.
Take me through the beginning.
No, look,
I don't want to ask about the end. That's not the story. It's the whole game.
Yeah, the whole game. And it's just like what you said. We knew what was at stake. 2 great teams battling out, 2 great head coaches, 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great rosters. Everything you said, we knew was at stake. That was as close to a Super Bowl type of atmosphere as you're going to get besides the actual Super Bowl. So we knew that we had to, give it our best shot, and we needed to weather the storm in the adversity. Because in games like that, any game, specifically football, it doesn't matter who you're playing, there's always going to be those ups and downs, right? But you fall back on your training, and to go to those plays at the end of the game, those end of the game plays, those are plays that we talk about and we go over every single week, dating back to OTAs. So I'm going to be honest with you. 13 seconds left. We had the ball in our hand. There was really never a doubt in my mind that we weren't going to be able to get into field goal range, just because I knew that all 11 guys on that field knew exactly what we were going to do and how we were going to do it and how we were going to execute it. And there was never any concern. There was never any guys worrying about, oh my, what are we going to do? None of that. It was everyone was locked and loaded. Like, here we go. We've practiced this. We've ran through this. We've repped this. Let's go. And that's exactly what happened. And then that last play to Kelsey, that was a little bit of improv. But again, that happens because of the reps and the experience that those two have together, because the way they practice together. Even since OTA springs, they're running full speed reps like it's a game, dating all the way back to the spring. So think about all those live reps, that they had over the years, but just since I was there, just watching, I'm like, these guys are going to connect. That's just what they have. You know what I'm saying? So I never really had a doubt, and I don't think anybody on the sideline did either. You didn't really see anyone kind of freaking out, just because, like I said, you fall back on the level of your training, and we rep that, and we were well equipped for those situations, and that speaks volumes to Coach Reed, Coach Bieniemy, and our offensive coaches on that staff to have us prepared in that moment, and that's what we were.
Unbelievable moment it was, and there's 13 seconds left. Mike Burton's getting ready to jump in the huddle, looking jacked with the big 4-5 on, good game day swagger too, as always, even though he says it doesn't matter to him, but he looks good on game day, which is massive. And then he gets in the special teams huddle, and there's 13 seconds left. He's going on kickoff return. He's playing the off returner probably back there. So you're standing on the 15 to 20 yard line, and your special teams coach is telling you what they're probably going to squib this. They may kick it out the back. If you get as much yards as you can and then go down. What's the conversation there as you're running out on the field?
Yeah, we had a good idea. They had been kicking it through the back of the end zone all game, so we had prepped for that. We thought that was what was going to happen. But if it happened where it got kicked to us, catch, get as many yards as you can and get down. Don't waste as little as clock as possible. Just give ourselves an offensive chance. But they ended up putting it through the back of the end zone, gave our offense a chance on the 25, and the rest is history. So
yeah, I would be out there like, oh geez, he's gonna squib the ball right at me. Here we go.
Yeah,
you just snap in, scoop it up, and get what you can for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a hero. I'm not getting touched. I'll be honest with you. I'm going right down. There's no way I have a chance of fumbling the football.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, exactly.
So let's transition to now, man. You're a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the market. You're going through your normal training process. Can you take us in? I know you don't want to divulge too much on it, but take us into what it's like, being a free agent. This is what, year 8 for you?
Yeah,
9?
year 8. Yeah, year 8, going into year 8. Yeah, look, and this is my honest opinion, and I'm not saying this just because I don't want to get too much into detail about it, but
you're fine.
Really, I just try to control what I can control. I really do. I mean, look, your film is your resume, right? That's who you are in this league. That's you can say everything, you can say this, say that, but the bottom line is when the tape gets turned on, that's who you are in this league. So that's my previous 7 years. That's what's on tape. So teams are going to take that as what they may. So right now my job is to find a way to get better every single day, find a way to be a better player, and control what I can control. And that's now getting back in the gym. That's working on strength, speed, change the direction, all those things, learn from my mistakes that I made last year. I took things from my exit meetings that I need to improve on, make sure I'm working on those so I can become a better player, get my body right, make sure I'm staying healthy. So, I allow, I have an agent and representatives for a reason, allow them to control the kind of the business side of it and allow myself to handle and control what I can. And that's just my physical and mental. And, I have faith and believe that I'll be landing the best, spot possible. And that's really all you can do. So
yeah, you've been through this grind before. You understand the process. Year 8, man, as a fullback in the NFL. Talk about some of those touches you had this year. You had a touchdown run. You had a little, you think you were what, 8 for 8 or 9 for 9 on 3rd and 1 or 4th and short?
Yeah. Again, that, like I've mentioned before, that's attributed to Coach Reed, Coach Heck, our offensive line coach, Coach Bieniemy, our offensive coordinator. Our coaches did a great job, again, of putting us in positions to be successful. And they did that with me. They were able to scheme up, while it might've been the same run, they schemed up the formation, they schemed up the motions. They were giving, unbalanced looks. They were giving the defense different looks each time to not be able to key in, on the play. So that's them, putting me in a position to be successful and then me executing it. Right. So, and our offensive line cannot speak highly enough. I mean, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Orlando Brown, Joe Tooney, Lucas Niang, Mike Remmers. I mean, our offensive line, Travis, Blake, Noah, our blockers, the receivers, all of them, they did an unbelievable job blocking on those short yardage situations, like just blowing dudes off the ball, rolling dudes out. So a lot of times I could go there untouched, so while people say, oh, I converted, our offensive line and our coaches scheming those plays up did an unbelievable job.
It's the number one team game in the world, and that's what makes it so special. When things go well, it is an unbelievable feeling, and then the consistency of going well is a whole nother level feeling, and then the consistency for years and almost a decade that you're going into your career. It's a testament to you, the sacrifice. Before we go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, can Mike Burton take us through a day in his meal preparation, maybe off season or when you're in Kansas City? Like, take us through like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, if you have some time.
Yeah, absolutely. So off season right now, I'm up. I used to actually do a little fasting before I'd work out, just do water and coffee, kind of switch that up. Now I'm doing a protein shake and a banana early, get up around 5:30, protein shake, banana, eat that, get to the gym by like 6:30-ish, work out forever, how long that takes, depending on what the day is, lower body, upper body, cardio day, work capacity day, active recovery day, whatever that is. Come back, eat. I'll go eggs, veggies in my eggs, spinach, kale, or peppers, kind of rotate those. I use ghee or olive oil as the kind of the sauce to the non-stick stuff. And go oatmeal as my carb. I go blueberries, chia seeds, flax seeds, a little bit of granola in there as well. Peanut butter, almond butter, kind of rotate those. That'll kind of be my breakfast. And then I typically do a lunch, then like an early dinner-ish, and then a dinner. So I actually just try to eat like 4 main meals a day and try to limit my snacking between. I don't do that as much anymore as I used to, just give my digestive system a little bit of a break. So lunch, my lunch and my later lunch and my dinner, just kind of be a rotation of, lean protein, a clean carb and a vegetable. So ground turkey, chicken, lean beef, a lot of fish, sweet potatoes, rice, lentils, beans, any type of, veggies, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels, salads, those types of things. So just try to, eat clean, meaning less ingredients, things that you can pick or pull, right? So a lot of veggies, things like that, and a lot of lean protein.
No pasta.
I do maybe brown rice pasta or lentil pasta, stuff like that. Just had that same pasta feel, but maybe a little bit different ingredients, things like that.
That's my favorite food in the world, man. I can't. It kills me. It kills me.
I know. I try to always just, I like to try some, new things. And plus, as I go into new teams, you hear guys talk about what they eat. You try to add that to you. You try to pick things up here and there. I don't think there's a best way to do it. I think a lot of it depends on, who you are and how you react to things. I think, I would like to say low inflammation foods, I think, are important for me to help me recover as I kind of get older in my career. So just staying away from foods that I know are going to inflame me up, I try to stay away from. And, and then I just try to eat things that make me feel good, give me energy, and those types of things. But it can be different for everybody.
Huge.
Yeah, the low information stuff is huge for me. And I think that's just allows me to recover, for the next workout the next day, so I can go as hard. But I don't think there's, one answer for everybody. I think it depends kind of what you like and what you're trying to do. You're trying to gain weight, lose weight, maintain, those types of things. So it can get a little bit more in depth than just eat this, this, and this. But that's typically right now kind of how I'm eating right now. And I do nuts and some almond yogurt or cashew yogurt and stuff for like a snack. Still maybe some raspberries, blueberries in there and stuff like that as a snack if I'm gonna eat.
How much water are you drinking per day?
Oh, I try to at least drink half my body weight in ounces. So about 240, 245. So half that, about 120, I guess, right? Would be 240. So try to drink that in water or just fluid in general. Electrolyte packets, protein shakes, those kind of things. So just
Last question for me before we wrap things up. Again, talking to the great Mike Burton, NFL fullback, 8 years. Walked on, folks, for those at home. I've been trying to tell players that can do it. Walk on to a big school. It will change your life, whether you play there or not. Walk on, team captain, drafted as an NFL fullback. But in the meantime, he went to the NFL Combine. Can you touch on some of the, because we all see the fun parts of the Combine, the 40, the bench, all that great stuff. It looks cool and all. But can you touch on the grind of what the NFL Combine is?
Yeah, the biggest grind of the NFL Combine is a lack of sleep and lack of rest. While it's a short period of time in terms of only a couple of days that you're there, you are always firing and you are completely on at all times. There isn't any downtime when you're sleeping, unless you're sleeping. But even then, you're going to bed. You could be going to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock. Then you're right up at 5 o'clock for a drug test. And then from the drug test, you're going to testing, not just physical testing. You're doing mental testing. Then it's to speaking with coaches. Then it's maybe you do have a break for lunch, but then it's, then you go to physical testing and then back to more mental testing and then meeting with coaches again. And it's just like medicals are thrown in there. It's just like every single second of the day you have something. There's not a lot of downtime, which is great. Meeting with teams and getting your name out there and having conversations is great. But when it comes to the physical testing, because at least when I was there, the setup, that was on the back end. So you could be going, you could have been there 2-3 days. You haven't done any physical testing yet, but your lack of sleep, like you're getting minimal sleep each night. Having conversations, it can be stressful out there. So central nervous system, you're just kind of fried a little bit when you get to the physical side of it. So that's why any downtime, making sure you're stretching, you're hydrated, you're moving around, so you don't just go 3 days without doing anything and then boom, they want you to go run a 40 or bench and you're prone to injury, right? So my advice to guys is to make sure you're moving and staying on top of like your training as much as you can before you have to go test. But it was a great experience for sure. It was definitely a lot eye-opening, kind of what I'm getting myself into, but it was definitely a grind for sure.
Awesome. I love it. Mike Burton, appreciate you coming on, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. Anytime.